Okay, you're good.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Moving Mondays with Marcia. A lot of M's in there, plain or peanut. Anyway, I want to talk to y'all today a little bit about Tai Chi and the benefits it has on the human body, the mind, the spirit. And Qigong. Actually, Qigong is the great-great-grandmother of Tai Chi. And Tai Chi is so old that there's really no written record of it. It comes back from legend. And legend has it that there was an old grandmaster one day watching a bird and a snake fighting each other. And the bird's wings were very adept at shielding from the snake's bite, and its beak was very good at snatching it. The snake, on the other hand, was very agile and quick and could get in there quickly. So he learned that there was a very cool balance almost of these two different natures of surviving. And from there, he really got on a quest about the elixir of life. And he spent so much time thinking about it. And he had a dream. And in this dream, he learned the movements of Tai Chi. And Tai Chi has many different forms today. The form we're going to learn about is called Sun style, and that's spelled S-U-N. And the components of Sun style are very slow and graceful and focused, controlled movements. There's never anything rigid in our movements. There's no jerking. There's a bit of calisthenics when we're pretending, kind of imagining we're pushing against a wall or embracing a big, huge circle around us. And the beauty of the slow movements is that it really makes you focus. It's a lot easier to go up and down with your feet and march than it is to go really slow and focus on shifting your weight to one leg and coming up and going down slowly. It really makes your mind focus. And another component of Sun style in any Tai Chi and Qigong actually is breathing. Our breath is so important. If you notice, our body's natural tendency is to inhale. When we open our chest, and exhale as we close it. So we want to tune into our breath and align it with our movements into a smooth flowing rhythm. And there's a pause in our breath. We don't just inhale and exhale. We inhale, and at the top of our inhale, there's always a pause, even if it's just for a nanosecond, there's a pause. And then we exhale. And at the bottom, there's another pause as we inhale and pause. So these are all things that we think about when we practice Tai Chi. And another important aspect of doing Tai Chi is that our stance is really important. And the best way for me to describe it to you is, you know, most of us stand around, maybe weight on one leg, and we might be a little bit sway back, and our belly might be lazy. And when we stand in what is called Wuji position, basically our feet are about hip width apart, and you can check that by putting your foot between up against the inside of the other foot, and then moving that foot out to the space that your foot provided. That's about hip width. And you can play with this. I like to describe it as finding your happy feet. And so, you know, your stance might be a little bit wider, and it might even get wider as you get stronger in your legs and you're bending down more. But another component of Tai Chi and Qigong is that you never do your knees past the tips of your toes. So there's always this vertical alignment of your spine as you stand. And when the proper way to get into Wuji is find your happy feet, relax, breathe normally. You always inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. You can exhale even audibly. You can sigh. And smile from your heart. That's another component of Qigong that I learned from Sifu Anthony, is the guy that I first got introduced to Qigong from way back when I was still an X-ray tech, and I herniated 3 discs in my back and I refused to have surgery. And there happened to be this guy right close by, about 30 minutes away in Gainesville, Florida, that had a physical building called the Flowing Zen Academy. And he taught Qigong there. So that was my first introduction to Qigong a long time ago, back in the early 2000s. And then COVID came along, and through a series of synchronicities in my life, I got put on the board of directors for Elder Options, and I had the opportunity there to learn to be a Tai Chi instructor. So this is what we're going to go over today, some of the things that I've learned from Dr. Lamb, and from another woman named Daisy Lee, and from Sifu Anthony. So to begin with, there's a very nice way to start. And to start, you know, just wiggle your body. You can pump up and down on your feet if you're able. If not, just you can even sit in a chair. Never be afraid to have a chair handy nearby if you need to lean on it for balance. And then, you know, as your balance gets better, then you can let go of the chair and put it aside. But always remember that, first of all, I am not a doctor, and I claim that you should always confer with your own doctor if you ever have any doubt about any exercises we do, even though they're very soft and gentle. That's the main thing. In Tai Chi, there is no pain. Tai Chi, everything is slow. And it takes more control to be slow than it does to be fast, believe it or not. So we're going to start with some warm-ups. And I know Kim has warmed up already this morning. She posted that she'd already walked a mile and was on her elliptical. So I'm like, yeah, hands off to you. But we're going to start with 6 exercises. And we're going to work our way from our head down to our feet. And we're going to start with the neck. And first off, again, find your happy feet. Find your position in qua, which is where you're not sway back and you're not pushing your pelvis forward either. But the way you find your qua is to stand up straight with your knees bent, and then simply relax the lower part of your spine. Relax your pelvis, your sacrum, just let it fall. And it's a subtle tilt forward, and you should feel firmly grounded on your heels, but you should also feel grounded on your toes as well. And that is called Wuji. And when we do that, here our qua, this opening in between our legs and our pelvis, feels more open and stable. And you can feel like you can move around easily, even without moving your feet, because you're stable. So that's the first thing we do. And then slowly, You're going to raise your arms up. Remember to keep a vertical alignment in your spine. Inhale. Don't scrunch your shoulders up either. Keep your shoulders down. Inhale. Exhale as you push out. And there's this very subtle up and down motion when we do this too, because we're pretending that we're dangling from the ceiling with a string through our head, down through our tailbone. And if you can imagine that feeling, then you can imagine what I mean when I say vertical alignment of your spine. And the way we get that is to stand in Wuji, and our chin is kind of tucked in, our shoulders are back, and our knees are bent. So we come up, and slowly tuck your chin, lower your knees a little bit. We'll do one more. And we put the ball down. We imagine we have this little, I call it a chi ball. It's a little ball of energy. And if you pay attention to your body, there's a point between your palms, it's called the lagoon, that you can actually feel this energy. And we can play with it like it's a little chi ball. So our next neck exercise is, we've come back to Wuji. We have this little ball. And we're going to raise up one arm, one hand, and only turn our neck. Nothing further. And then come back. Let your palms cross. And turn the other direction. And back. And don't forget to breathe. We never hold our breath in Tai Chi. And with each turn of your neck, you can rotate it just a little bit further, but never go out past your comfort range. Remember, there is no pain in Tai Chi. Everything is slow and easy, even though it is a form of martial arts, believe it or not. So that's 2 for the neck. And we come back. Always tune back into your body. How do you feel? And then start rolling your shoulders forward. Might get some cricks in there. You can do it 3 to 5 times. And then go the other way. Open that chest. Remember to keep your vertical alignment. Remember, you're dangling from the ceiling on a magic bouncy string like a slinky. And we come back, check in again, smile from the heart, feel your energy flowing. And now we're going to do an exercise that's called gathering the chi or showering chi. I'm going to switch up the 6 set of 6 exercises that Dr. Paul Lamb taught me, and I'm going to throw in one here that I learned from a fabulous woman named Daisy Lee, and it's called showering chi. So again, lift your arms up. You inhale, flip your palms upward, then down a little bit, come up, inhale, and exhale. Again. Let's do one more. Notice I'm not doing my shoulders way up either. Everything is gentle within the range of your comfort zone motion. So now we're going to do 2 for the spine. We're going to come back holding our little chi ball again. Wuji. We're going to sink in our qua a little bit. Stretch up our left hand. As we inhale and push up and down on the floor. Notice my spine is very centered. I'm straight. Let your palms cross. Change sides. Push up, down. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And now we're going to take our chi ball again. And we're going to twist our spine. We're not going to turn from our hips or our knees or our feet. We're only twisting our spine to get a nice little twist in there as we turn from one knee only to the other. You don't need to go past the knee. Less is more in Tai Chi. Less is more. So we'll turn. So over the knee. Flip your ball. Keep your eyes, sights, your head straight. Turn the ball. Twist. Don't overdo it. We'll go one more time. Turn our chi ball. And we'll come back. So now that's 2 for the spine. We've done half the body already. So now we're going to do 2 for the hips. And these 2 are, the next one's kind of weird. You can always wiggle around in between movements too. If you notice, like when I'm talking, I'm always kind of moving my feet around and stuff. It just keeps your blood flowing, what it does. And we PAD warriors know about blood flow, don't we? So the next one for our hips is called the zombie walk. And I'm probably going to step back just a hair. And what we're going to do, find our happy feet again. We're going to push our arms backwards. And step forward with left foot. Keep your toe up. And then if you need to, you can come back to center and stop. And then this time your arms are going to go forward as your leg goes back. And you notice it goes back kind of on a 45-degree angle. I'm not going straight back or I'd be out of balance. So it goes back and I'm just touching my toe down and my heel is up. So if you need to stop in the middle, you can. The more you can lift your foot, toe up, better. And then back. And forward with the foot and back. And forward and back. And now come back. If you need to wiggle your feet, your legs, go ahead. You get ready. We're going to do the other side, the zombie walk. So arms back, foot forward. If you need to stop in the middle, go ahead. Then that same right foot back on about a 45-degree angle as your hands go forward. And you can step through if you're able. If you're not, you can even hold on to a chair. you find your happy spot with this. And the thing about Tai Chi is we start slow, we build up slow. There is no hurry ever in Tai Chi. So the next one for our hips is kind of like the one we did for our spine, pushing on the ceiling and floor, but this time we're going to push on the wall next to us. So, you know, kind of crouch a little bit in your quad. Don't let your knees go past your toes. And you're going to push on the wall beside you, but my spine is straight. As I'm pushing, I'm stepping out with the opposite foot. So you'll notice there's always a counterbalance in body movements, which is very good for helping us train our bodies to keep vertical alignment and balance. So let's change legs. Push on that wall. You can actually clench your muscles like you're doing calisthenics, good for your arms. Come back. Push. Gently push. 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 Good. Now we're down to our knees. And these ones are kind of cool. They look more like Tai Chi movements, actually. And it's the same movement with a very significant variation. So again, we're going to find our happy feet. Grounded. Find your Wuji position where your spine is relaxed. You're dangling from that ceiling, the string. And now you're going to slowly shift your weight to your right leg. You're going to step forward with your left leg. And punch, but don't shift your weight forward. Don't move your hips. Don't do anything. You'll find standing like this is a really good leg strengthener. So, other leg. Step, and it's not a huge step. Everything is small steps. This carpet I'm standing on is only 6 feet wide. I could do Tai Chi in a jail cell if I had to. So there's not much space needed for this at all. My ceilings are only 8 feet high. So again, small movements. So we're going to start. Shift your weight left. Or shift your weight right, I mean. Step forward with your left. Punch with your right. You're going to notice that it looks opposite because of Zoom, and I can't mirror the image. You'll notice I'm not shifting my weight. I'll show you sideways even. So shift weight right, step forward left, keep my weight on my back foot, punch with a spiral. There's lots of spiral, graceful movements in Tai Chi. Now change legs, shift your weight left, step forward with your right, but leave your weight on the back leg, then punch with a spiral. Don't move your hips. That's in the next move. So let's do just a couple more of those so you get the feel for it. Shift weight, step, punch opposite arm for your step. Always a counterbalance. Step, punch, back. Step, punch, back. Step, punch, back. Good. Now the next one is very similar, but we're going to shift our weight. And actually, if you think about Tai Chi as a form of martial arts, this will make sense to you, even though it's in slow motion. So again, we find our wuji, our quads a bit open, knees not over the toes, chin down, chin tucked, shoulders down, but all relaxed like you're hanging from a string. Now, shift your weight. This time, go heel, toe, and shift your weight forward, then punch. And you're even going to get a little bit of a hip turn in there. And if you think about a good punch to get the power of your chi through the end of your fist, that's how it's done. It's done from your hips and your leg movement is providing that energy. So again, heel, toe, shift your weight forward, but keep your back knee bent. Knees are always bent comfortably. You never lock your knees unless you want to pass out. Okay, so last but not least are our tootsies, our feet. And this is really important. If you need to have a chair nearby to do this, you can. Some days I feel like I need to because my right foot has really bad neuropathy. And it was so bad that in December I was being treated for stage 3 PAD. We're getting it slowly back down to the claudication phase. And by doing these exercises and walking every day and eating well and keeping my mind in a good place, I'm getting better. So there's hope for us warriors, even if we start slow and move slow. So this last one is for our feet. And you can either use a chair or you can put your hands on your hips. After you find your happy feet stance, put your hands on your feet. And with the left foot, you're going to go shift your weight to the right, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. Now, rest a minute, wiggle. If your muscles feel tight and cramping, always stop and wiggle. Wiggling is one of the best Qigong moves there is. If you're stressed and you can, wiggle. Why do you think kids like to be rocked? You know, it's in our nature. It feels good. So you can wiggle. So now the next foot, same thing, find your happy feet. You're going to go hands on hips, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. In December, there was I couldn't do that heel toe thing. I tried sitting down and I had to be really, really, really easy on myself. So whenever you make progress, give yourself a hug. Tell yourself, good job, yeah. You know, even baby steps, it's where we all start. You know, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. So as long as we keep moving, we'll get there. So now the last foot exercise is very similar. Again, find your wuji, hands on hips, and this time shift your weight. You're going to bend you're going to go in and out with your ankle. Try not to do it from up here so much. Each body part that we do, that's the part you should be focused on. That's where your energy should be flowing to. And trust me, where thoughts go, energy flows. That's probably the best way to say it. All right. You gotta wiggle this foot out a little bit. It's my right. And it gets achy very quickly. Now, again, hands on hips, shift my weight. So I had full weight on one leg. It's another concept in Tai Chi, full weight. This leg is empty weight. This leg is full weight. So hands on hips for counterbalance. And go in and out. And in and out. And in and out. And there's a head to toe workout, and it's been proven, scientifically based evidence based, that if you do these moves like twice a day, if you practice Tai Chi for 15 minutes, you can break it up twice a day, that you will improve your balance and pain levels for arthritis. It helps with flexibility and motion. And now I'm going to show you a very nice, cool way to close. Again, wiggle, smile from the heart. And let's tune back into our bodies again. Let's listen. You feel different? You feel your life force energy flowing through your blood vessels a little better? And now, you're going to come up, turn your palms, come over, bring your hands forward, and let's just pause here for a minute. Connect with your body, feel grounded, feel it all, feel it all. Take that energy and radiate it outward. Take your happy smile from your heart, and radiate it outward to the world. And then bring it back in. Palms down. And you bow slightly. And you swivel from the hips. You don't curl up your back. Keep your back straight like a tabletop. And come up with love and service and joy for all the world. We all have our little parts to play. And by ending this way, we reground ourselves. We have a fresh perspective kind of on our place in the universe. And that's what I love about practicing Tai Chi and Qigong. As we keep going with this practice, probably over the next 8 weeks, couple of months, by the end of it, you will know a complete set of movements of Tai Chi. That's the thing about one difference between Qigong and Tai Chi, is that Tai Chi is one movement that you can just do over and over. And you can just keep doing that movement slowly, over and over. Whereas Tai Chi is a series of movements. So the one step leads to the next, leads to the next. And so that's why it's a little more tricky to teach Tai Chi online unless I get a group of dedicated people who really want to learn the whole movements that are called Tai Chi for arthritis and fall prevention. And again, it's been an evidence-based program that you can actually find it on the Tai Chi Institute for Health, or online. It's Tai Chi for Health Institute.org. And you can find all kinds of information on there. The studies that I've mentioned, you can join a global community there. And he's just this very nice older man in his late 70s. When he was a child, he was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis and suffered horrible pain with it. And so his grandfather had learned some Tai Chi through one of the grandmasters around at the time. And that was how Dr. Lamb got introduced to Tai Chi. And so he's been practicing it for like over 40 years. And it's lovely to watch him move. Plus, he's also a medical doctor. So he gets both sides of this equation, circulation issues, other issues, from a Western medical stance and an Eastern medical stance. And so I love that about him. And I think that's probably pretty much all for today, unless some of you people have some questions.
Yeah, I'd love to open it up for questions. That was wonderful. I don't know about any of you, but it's interesting that I didn't really think that I was doing very much. And then suddenly afterwards, like I feel this amazing energy just going, like I feel as one. I feel like this seamless flow of continuous energy going all the way through me right now. And it just, I feel like it's just going, whoo.
Yes, that's it. And, you know, Qigong is also the great-grandmother, the great-great-grandmother of acupuncture. And there's certain points on our bodies, especially in our feet, that really can help our circulation. If you want, I'll sit down and show you some of these because I am constantly rubbing this foot, my right foot, all the time. And there's a place between your big toe and your second toe, just right down there in the valley. That is a very good pressure point to gently rub. And it's connected to our to the kidneys, which is all flow. I mean, kidneys, you know, they filter out our urine and that kind of waste. And to rub there gently and easily can be very soothing for people who have PAD. I'm here to tell you. You can stretch your toes kind of up and back. And one thing, if you practice standing Tai Chi and Qigong barefoot, what you want to do when you first stand up is actually find your hip width where your happy feet are. But then before you put the balls of your feet down firmly, spread your toes apart and then put them down, because that is very good. As we get older, we get crimped up, we can't move, we're not as flexible. And that also helps widen your stance, and thus you have better grounding. And the thing about practicing this is that to me it's fun. And it's very mellowing. And as Kim said, it gives me this energy surge. And there's a channel through which Eastern medicine says our energy flows. And one is called our conceptual channel. And it runs down to our tailbone in the front. And then the one in the back runs up our spine, out the top of our head. So we really do have this energy engine. And if you notice, when I said there's like if you're pretending you're on a spring from the ceiling, there's this bounciness that comes. And you can actually play with your chi ball and get your energy engine going. And as you move your hands up closer to your chest, you can spread your shoulder blades apart to take a nice inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And just play with it. It's fun to play with, feel it, experiment with it. Another thing about breathing that's very important. And, you know, there's different practices that tell you always breathe through your mouth or always breathe through your nose. And sometimes you just breathe naturally. But the benefit to focusing on inhaling through your nose, which is that we have filters in there, there's hair. So it's a good idea to run the air through your air conditioning filter. So you inhale through your nose, and then when you exhale through your mouth, you let your jaw relax. And just by the very action of letting your jaw loosen, it kicks in your parasympathetic nervous system. Everybody's running around on their sympathetic nervous system. I'm late, hurry, 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 fight or flight. And the parasympathetic moment can come up when we relax our jaw and exhale with a sigh. And we remind our body to re-regulate our hormones that way. And it's also in the pause. And the idea in good breathing, there's different variations, but generally you want to exhale a bit longer than you inhale. So say you're doing a count of 8. You can inhale 3 and exhale to 5. You can do it in a box. You can inhale for 4, pause, exhale for 4, pause, inhale, pause, exhale, pause. And another thing about breathing that's really, really important in this, we have different, they're called dantians. They're like energy centers. We have a lower dantian that's here, just below your belly button and about 3 inches inside. So like your spine, picture your spine. So that's where your lower dantian is. And that's really like the powerhouse of our energy. Then we have middle dantian, our heart, which is where we can really exercise that parasympathetic sigh as we exhale and smile from the heart. And then we have an upper dantian, which is more of clarity and focus. And when all are aligned, we think better. We think with better clarity and more focus. We have more energy. We run around feeling happier and more motivated. And the beauty of Tai Chi is you can do just 2 little increments here and there. Start small, build up, slow. That's how you build motivation instead of it having to be this, oh God, I have to go do 2 hours in the gym today. You can break it up. And if I do about an hour a day of Tai Chi and Qigong. I break up half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening, or 15 minutes here and there. Out where I work a lot, I'm out in nature, and that's a wonderful place to do Tai Chi. So
There is a question that came in from Mimic Health, and they're asking, I think this is Brian who's asking this. Are there any books that you recommend? I know that there's one that I got, Pocket Tai Chi for Beginners, Simple Steps to a Healthy Body and Mind. But I'm wondering if there's any book that you would recommend for people to get started, maybe with a lot of pictures, I would imagine.
Books are good, but they're the best way to learn Tai Chi is to just do it. Even if you make mistakes, that's how we learn, is through our movements. We start with maybe floppy, rigidy, shaky movements, and maybe you just had a stroke and you can't even walk and you're in bed. Well, you start with trying to just lift your arms. You do what you can. A book, I don't know the name of it, and I'm not sure how many pictures it has in it, but I would check out, the guy's name was my first instructor in Qigong years ago. His name is Anthony Corahayas. And it's spelled, his last name is kind of weird to spell. I think it's Korahayas. Corahayas, or it might be Corahayas instead of Corahayas. I think you can find them easily enough. You can type in Flowing Zen Academy. That's a very easy way to remember. And then he just recently wrote a book. I think it's one of the newer books. There's not a lot of Qigong books out there except ones that you have to translate. If you know the language and you can read that language, then you can go for that. But You know, it's a weird thing. Qigong has been around so long, longer than Tai Chi and all these martial arts. And just now in America, just now, people are beginning to hear about it. Qigong. People ask me, what's Qigong? I said, it's kind of like Tai Chi, but it's much older and it's much simpler. So,
There's
Marcia,
actually a bunch
can
of
you,
YouTube channels that are out there. There's like Qigong for vitality. That's one that I have logged as well. And it's great. They have videos for beginners. But I think, Marcia, you're going to be doing quite a few of these, right?
oh
On
yeah,
Mondays?
yeah, I
Moving
think
Mondays?
Moving Mondays. Next week, we'll start with the beginning movements of the Tai Chi for arthritis and fall prevention. I don't know if we have time today, but the first movements are simple. The first two movements are called commencement and open and close. So if you want a little preview of next week, I'll show you. Again, we come in, we do our greeting salute. Step out to our Wuji and commence. And then open. And close. So that's the first two steps of a 12-step sequence of moves we're going to learn. It's called Tai Chi for arthritis and fall prevention. And this
I love
movement
that.
here, the open and close, it's a key essential movement in Tai Chi. And it's so important to focus on it because this is your chance to really take in that deep breath and feel your energy and smile from the heart. You're playing with your chi ball energy right here at your heart. This is what pumps all the rest of our blood, the rest of our body, right here. So get your happy heart going.
I love it. Well, I
Okay.
think Nancy had a question for you.
Yeah.
Go ahead and unmute, Nancy.
yeah, I'm doing that. Okay. Could you just spell that? Is it Shedong? I wanted to look it up. Shedong? Is that
No,
QI.
it's QIGONG.
QR?
Like,
Okay. And I wanted to ask you too, when you're like rubbing your toes like that, do you suggest like reflexology for your feet that would help us with pad?
yeah, I actually have a chart on the inside of my bedroom door that's for spots on my ears, the meridians in my ears, my hands, and my feet. And the acupressure is very much like acupuncture. It's just these meridian points. And there's another point too that's very helpful. I'll show you a couple more.
Okay.
Besides the one that's in between your toes right here,
Uh-huh.
first and second toe, then you can come up near your ankle. And on the
Okay.
inside of the ankle, you'll feel a little depression.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a point to rub. And on the outside, on the other side, there's another little depression. That's a very good one to rub. That one is one of my favorites because I have trouble with my feet. And then if you take the palm of your hand and put your pinky right in the middle of your ankle bone and come up to your thumb and off the leg bone there, a little bit closer to you, you'll feel this little dimple. It's very subtle, little tiny dimple there. And you can press in there and rub it. And you might find actually that that's sore.
Okay.
That's sore. And that's why you want to do these rubbings very gently. There's another one up here on the lateral side of your leg, below the knee, and there's another dimple in there. And you can rub that one. And at the same time, your thumb can come around and find the dimple on the other side of your bone and rub that one.
Okay.
These two really, and the one on the inside, again, it might be very sore.
Mhm.
And why? Because that's like your popliteal artery and stuff runs through there. And if you have PAD, like I do, my popliteal's clogged. And so these are all things I did, especially in December after my first procedure when I had critical ischemia, limb ischemia, and my toe had this open, really gross wound on it, and my toe was dark purple. And today it looks really good. It really does. I generally always wear socks in the house because my feet are cold. And when I'm outside, I have shoes on, period.
Right.
I don't go barefoot. And I've learned even some days in the house, I'm like, God, I think I want my shoes on. I have two dogs that are in the bedroom snoozing right now. Otherwise, I'd be out here playing with me while I was doing movements.
Mhm.
And one of them is this pit bull mixed dog I rescued. And she clumped down on the outside of this ankle on my right foot so bad. And her hard toenails went into me like snake fangs, where there's no skin hardly, and it's bone. And it went probably a ½ inch deep. And it took so long for that to heal, on top of the PAD and this open wound on my toe. And I'm telling you, we have to learn to be our own care receivers. I spend a lot of time rubbing my feet. I spend time cleaning my feet, my toes. I keep the stuff on them that helps keep fungus off of them, because even fungus can go to your bone if you let it go.
Right.
So, I take this energy I have, and it's like I tell myself, I love my feet. I love my legs. I love the circulation I have in my body. I hug myself, and all of this energy, you might think it's woo-woo or whatever, but I'm telling you, where our focus, where attention goes, is where our energy flows. So if we're moping around all day aching that, oh, my back hurts, and oh, it hurts with every step I take, that's what you're focused on. That's what you're going to see. That's what you're going to get more of. But if you switch the flip the switch, and we kind of learn to live with the pain some, because we got to get on in life. But you do what you can. You start where you are with what you have, and you do what you can from there.
Well,
And
I
it
appreciate
works.
that, because I started taking Tai Chi. It's a different type of Tai Chi. I think it's called Hindu, and it's not taught very often. But they had it in the gardens here. We have large gardens here, Brook Green Gardens. So free classes, and I started taking it, and I fell in love with it. Now I'm going to start taking it on the beach. They're having it once a week on the beach here. I live
Cool.
4 blocks to the ocean, so I'm going to go take it on the beach. Will that confuse me doing the two different kinds, or is it okay?
I don't think so. It's like, if I wouldn't do this kind, which is slower, smooth kind, and then go right out and do a yang.
Yeah, this is very slow
No.
too, very gentle.
Yeah, well, all Tai Chi is slow, but the
Yeah.
energy is different. There's a yin energy, which is actually more sung, it's more feminine and nourishing. And then there's the more active Chang energy, or yang, the more masculine energy. And I think right now, the world we live in, there's so much yang energy and so much yang anger floating around. It's kind of why I really like this Sung style, and the way that Daisy Lee teaches a form of the most beautiful Qigong. It's called Radiant Lotus. And how fitting, yesterday was Mother's Day. And it just reminds me of Kuan Yin. And the legend in Buddhist history has it that Kuan Yin finally reached enlightenment, and she was welcomed up to the gates of heaven, and just as she was about to walk in, she heard the children and people of Earth crying. And so she turned back to the gates, looked, and then turned around and returned to Earth because the Earth needed help. And so she's the goddess of compassion and this more nurturing, slow healing energy that says, it's okay. It's okay if you can't punch, if you can't walk 5 miles a day yet. It's okay. You do what you can.
Mm-hmm.
Build it up. And there, the energy that her philosophy, she had it in a little formula. It's called vertical alignment
Mm-hmm.
plus neutral compassion equals lead stable energy. And I think that's exactly what the world needs right now. This vertical alignment where we're whole and good with ourselves. We're not overdoing, we're not underdoing, we're not
Mm-hmm.
being martyr or the victim of poor me. All this happens to me. Or we're not stressing on all the jobs we have to do as mothers.
Mm-hmm.
And we hold a vertical alignment. And then when we look at the world through this compassion, but not to the point where it exceeds our boundaries, our healthy boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
then we get into place, a manner of traveling that is lead stable energy. It's
Mm-hmm.
sane, kind and compassionate, empathetic, but it doesn't have to be so forceful. And I think especially right now in the world, this is what we need more of. We need more radiant lotus. We need to slow down and focus on our slow moving energy. And where is our energy right now?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about our feelings and thoughts do become things. But if you start thinking something and the next thing you notice you're going down this road of feeling crappy, you can stop yourself and go, wait a minute, what was I thinking about before I started feeling this way? So you can catch yourself. And when you catch yourself and stay still for a moment and pretend that thought is a cloud just passing by, and you can see it. You can even imagine shapes in it, your love, your anger, or whatever, and let it float off. And that's a good way to come back to center, to our ground.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's cool about your outdoor classes. I taught an outdoor class close by here in Williston. They
Mm-hmm.
had this ghost town Winn-Dixie shopping center for years, just nothing was there. And so these people bought it up and they built this big, huge, like canopy, huge covering, but it's outdoors, but it's covered. And they bought these little mini homes, and people have bought little mini homes and turned them into little miniature businesses. They built this big square bar, and they're turning it into this little mini housing community thing that has this big place for events. So that was a lot of fun too. But I love it on the beach. The beach is the best.
Yeah, it's going to be 7:30 in the morning and starting, I think, the end of May. And the gardens are called Brook Green Gardens. They're one of the most famous gardens in the United States. So just beautiful, surrounded by flowers and fountains and birds. And it was just the most relaxing thing I ever did. And I fell in love with Tai Chi. I kept trying yoga and I couldn't do it with my hips and everything. I had trouble. But Tai Chi I can do. And I love it. I mean, it's so relaxing. So.
Yeah, a friend of mine owns a yoga studio about 20 minutes away from me. And I don't know, I just don't resonate with yoga quite as well as I do with the Tai Chi. The yoga is great, stretching, and you become very flexible and strong even.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I guess it's my own mindset because I'm kind of a busy person, rapid thinking person. And so I don't like sitting and meditating either. But this Tai Chi and Qigong is this nice medium place where I can move. Like it becomes like this flowing dance,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so focused and building mindfulness while I do it. So that's why I love Tai Chi and Qigong.
It's beautiful to watch with someone
It
that has been doing it for a while to watch. It's almost like a dance, and I
is.
like dance, so but it's a slow flowing the way the arms go, and I love it. I get a little dyslexic almost. It's like I get confused at times with the arm movements, and I'm like, am I doing this right? But it's just I need to practice. So
Yeah, and that's one thing about teaching this on Zoom. Like when I get into the movements more, I'll do them from the back so that your automatic tendency on Zoom is to move the same direction I'm moving. But in fact, it's opposite. So
yeah,
this is my left. And
uh-huh,
so you want to move that way, but it's really your right. So that's
right,
why I often will turn around so that you're moving the same way I am. And then I'll
uh-huh,
also show the movements from the side so you can
hmm,
get an idea of what it looks like
right,
on the side. And
uh-huh,
that's how I've found. The only other way to do it, which makes me dyslexic a little bit, is to just start, like if I say the left, I'll start with my right and it'll look like the left to you, but that's just too much weird. It gives me a headache thinking about it. It's like, wait, what am I doing? And
hmm,
Tai Chi is supposed to be easy and kind of focused, but also rather kind of mindless. It's this
hmm,
base of being and feeling our energy and letting and sitting with it and experiencing the movement of it, not going,
hmm,
oh, I have 100 to do.
hmm.
Oh, the kids are home in 15 minutes. You know, like that's the beauty of this stuff. It's a very good mindfulness training.
It
And
is.
that's very important for people with PAD.
It's relaxing. It's just relaxing and I love it. And I can do it and I don't, with yoga, I just kept trying and my hips were hurting because I've had PAD for many years and wasn't diagnosed for a while and had no idea why do my hips hurt? Why do my legs? So Tai Chi I can do and I love
That's
it.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent. Well,
So
I'm
I'm
So,
looking forward to
Marcia,
the
what
Mondays.
what we were doing today was qigong.
Yes, actually, they were the warm-ups for the Tai Chi movements we're going to be starting to learn over the
Oh, so
course.
qigong. So we were learning in a sense Tai Chi, the basics of Tai Chi, which is
Right, it's
qigong.
Qigong. Qigong is the basics of Tai Chi, really. It's the great grandmother of it. And so today we did the warm-ups. You always want to warm up. You don't just go into doing movements. You don't come home, put the groceries down, go, oh my God, it's 5:05. I'm 5 minutes late for doing my Qigong, and start right in. You always get yourself grounded and centered and unrushed, and you check in with your body, with your emotions, with your mind. You check your thoughts at the door so you can just observe, be the objective observer of how this energy is flowing in your body. And our bodies are great signalers they give us hints of what we need to do to take care of ourselves. And sometimes they scream at us loudly, like PAD can do.
And
And
so next week, when in our next session that we do, we'll probably start with these
right. Now,
qigong.
I won't go into so much talking explanation about it because really those exercises can be done in like about 7 minutes. So
Wow.
even consider if you did those exercises every day, twice a day, that's 15 minutes of Tai Chi warm-ups, and you will gain better balance and your arthritis will start feeling better because you'll be more flexible just from doing the warm-ups, let alone the whole series of 12 movements that we're going to learn. So
Fantastic.
it'll be
Thank you
a
so
process.
much. We appreciate you doing that. This was absolutely, so thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm really looking forward to the next following Mondays.